Morning, everyone. Welcome to Daryl and Boo's weekly update for the last Monday of May, 31st.
Wow.
Yeah. Holiday for our friends in the US, but full go here up in Canada. How was your weekend, Boo?
Yeah, it was good. It was still a long weekend for us, at least at F5. We had our F5 Wellness Day on Friday there, which for those of you who aren't familiar with this, we talked about this before, but F5 has been very gracious around employee wellness, has done a lot of stuff internally that we don't talk about publicly for our own health and wellness here. But things that people will notice is that we have been given a few wellness days throughout the year, and so they're meant to take some time out and do something that's good for your health. And so I went. My kids had their parkour class, so they do homeschooling. We've talked about it before. They do homeschooling, and so for PE, instead of they don't have a gym here at home. Well, sort of they have a gym here at home, but they have a parkour class that they've been doing for the last couple months or so.
Oh, yeah.
So they got a couple weeks left of that. So they had 2 hours of parkour that they were doing, which they love. And then it's over a lunch hour basically. So I went for lunch with my wife, and so that was good for Wellness Day since we don't really get any sort of free time ever from the kids. Then what else this weekend? Yeah, we had good weather this weekend, so I went out mountain biking twice this weekend, and I am happy to report I finished my crown molding. That was a 8-week-long saga, I think. So now I have to work on another project. But yeah, for those who are keeping tabs and wondering if I'll ever finish that home reno project, that is done.
Nice, good for you. Check.
Yeah.
You get a break in between home reno projects, or is it? Or do they tend to hold up?
I think I talked about it last week, but my wife started to take apart my office 2 weeks ago, last week, and it was started to take it apart and then kind of paused. So now my office is just destroyed around me here. Nobody can see it, but it's not in good shape right now, and that's one of the things. And then she wants to do some wainscoting upstairs as well after finishing the crown molding, and so that's in progress as well. So yeah, a couple of things on the go. I'm sure there'll be weeks of projects, even though they're quick ones.
I'm sure they'll both look good.
Yeah. And how was your weekend?
Yeah, it was nice for the Friday off, which was really a nice break because we had the Monday before. So pretty rare that you get kind of a short week like that. I just had a bunch of little errands that I had to get done. So kind of took advantage of having that Friday off and had a bit of a productive day. Not kind of F5 work related. And then Saturday was actually kind of fun. I think I told you before, we've got those e-scooters that we've been enjoying, kind of bombing around the city. We met up with some friends of ours, and we did a bit of a informal mural tour So all over Vancouver. I don't know how far it stretches out, but and I don't even know how long it started. But there's actually an annual mural day or something like that, festival, I think they call it. But some beautiful murals have been painted in and around Vancouver. Some of against brick walls, some against sort of real odd shaped types of backgrounds. But fantastic work. And they're some of them you're driving down main streets and you see them and notice them and they're great. But a lot of them are actually tucked into kind of side streets and alleys and little parking lots and places that you wouldn't just normally go unless you had a specific reason. So yeah, we just kind of bombed around on the bikes and checked out probably 15 or 20 of these murals, and of course caught up with a couple of breweries in between to keep ourselves hydrated. But that was kind of fun.
Businesses too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was a nice, like I said, nice long weekend. Yeah, so I think we've got, for the first time ever, I could be mistaken, but a team, colleagues of ours who work out of Edmonton, both the SC and the account manager on. So I think this is a first, but pretty cool. I'm looking forward to catching up with our guys here, Vlad and Chris.
Here they are.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Good morning.
Come on.
How you doing?
So the first question we'll need to get out of the way is what happened to the Oilers?
Can I answer it tomorrow after tonight's game between Leafs and Habs?
Yeah, you pick a new favorite team. But yeah, no, I'm kidding. I was surprised at that, but obviously saw your Nathan McKinnon jersey back then, and I know you're a big Oilers fan, so that always some surprises in the playoffs, but that one I did not see coming going into the
Nope.
It is a bit disappointing. Was hoping for a longer run, just to playoffs, kind of exciting, different type of game to watch. Even they had a not bad season, but hopefully next year or something. I don't know.
The famous word, always next year.
Well, trending in the right direction for sure. There's no question they were a much better team this year than they were in years past. So hopefully they'll tinker with a few things in the off season. Yeah.
Disappointing, but damn Winnipeg.
Yeah. Good for Winnipeg, though. It'll be interesting to see who wins between Toronto and Montreal. So I think Winnipeg will give either one of them a good run for their money.
Yeah, I think I'm going to watch a little bit of Winnipeg. They kind of deserve my and I've cheered for them previously. Kind of Chris and I, we cover Manitoba as well as part of our territory. So kind of have to have second team.
Yeah.
And I will definitely watch a couple of games for sure.
Yeah. So kind of did a very informal intro, but for the folks who haven't met either of you, maybe you guys can share a little bit about your role, kind of the areas that you cover, and a little bit of background on your time with F5.
Cool. I guess I can go first. So anyway, thanks you guys for inviting us to the session here. So definitely looking forward to it. So my name is Chris McKinnon. I'm based out of Edmonton, Alberta here. I work with Vlad, of course. We cover, I guess, northern Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba area as territory. In a sense, I've been with the company now for, I guess, almost going up on a year. I guess August would be 1 year.
Nice.
So I'm fairly new to the company, but prior to that, actually back when I worked as a customer, I used to manage like the F5 infrastructure for, I think, about 5 years. So very familiar with, I guess, the big IP stack and deploying it in various cloud environments, in a sense. So pretty knowledgeable in that sense. So I guess, looking forward to learning all the new stuff, because I know we have, with the acquisitions and all the new tech and the new enhancements, there's lots of, there's never any shortage of learning new stuff. So definitely looking forward to kind of onboarding under that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar to Daryl. I'm account manager here with F5, covering same territory, one-on-one with Chris. So Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Northern Edmonton, Alberta. I've been with F5 just over 6 years now. It's kind of crazy how time flies. And I remember first couple of weeks I flew up to Vancouver, spent two or 3 days with you, Daryl. We met some customers in Buu, of course. And it's been 6 years. Still having a lot of fun, kind of a lot of new stuff, keeping us on our toes. Outside of work, we always have some kind of home projects, and if it's nice or half decent nice, we try to spend some time outside or barbecuing our friends or something along those ways.
Nice.
And I feel famous. It's like being on Joe Rogan. I'm gonna put it on my resume now. Daryl and Buu show.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
pretty close to that.
Your careers are going to skyrocket from this day
Yes.
forward. So just brace yourselves for it.
We finally made it, Vlad. We made it.
We're working on that Spotify deal. I don't know if Spotify has any money left over at this point. They're just trying to save up a few bucks right now, and then we'll get into negotiations.
Yeah,
How about 6 months for free? I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I have seen now one podcaster who has started to, or maybe they haven't started yet, but we joke about this, but they are going to NFT some of their episodes and sell the rights to their episodes, whatever they can get out of it, I guess. I don't know how that'll work with like usually podcast episodes will have, well, if they're at a certain point, they'll have sponsorships that will be part of it. And so I don't know if they would actually sell the NFT to a sponsor and that sponsor owns the price of that, or they own the ability to add sponsorship tags to the front end or the middle of those shows. But interesting that it's possible, different business models that you can enable using technology like that.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit behind. And I mean, I read a couple articles, but it's such a fascinating space. And like, you couldn't even imagine that 10 years ago or 5 years ago, probably.
No, seemingly came out of nowhere and all of a sudden just exploded. I'm sure they're working on the technology for a long time behind the scenes, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all blockchain applications, right?
Yeah. Timing wise, just joining the company you mentioned, Chris, just a year coming up in August. So this has been a pretty interesting year to join F5. We've historically, up until the last couple of years, have not been known for acquiring a lot of companies. We'll do it every once in a while, but it's not something like an annual thing. And obviously, we'd already acquired NGINX when you had started, and probably Shape shortly before that. But Volterra, so a bunch of new stuff that you're kind of as part of the portfolio right off the bat for you, hey Chris.
No, for sure. So, which is very exciting, right? Because it's like, technology is constantly evolving, as everyone knows. So it's, it's always like, what's the next new thing, and how can we improve on the existing stack, and how can we, kind of move it forward, right? So definitely required in this industry, but at the same time, it's very, very exciting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Boo, have we got some few articles to look up and interesting Western Canadian stuff?
All the SEs kind of chat with each other all the time, and I would say Chris is one of our crypto experts, and so I've got some articles here that we can get Chris to weigh in on. Nice. First one here: Vancouver-based real estate platform adds Bitcoin to its payment form. What? I haven't checked this morning. Bitcoin's at like 35,000.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's 36, 37. It's not great. Yeah, 37 right now. So, which is like down like 50% since like 2 weeks ago. It was like, I think it hit a peak around 64, 65K. And then we had that, that fiasco that sort of pretty much dropped crypto in half. So it's
what? That being Elon?
Well, sort of, right? Like Elon, like he has like an impact on the price, but it's like, it's more around like the Chinese in the sense of like, like banning it, right? So like obviously he does, like he tweets and it goes up or down, but I think the more broader impact is going to be around the adoption and, regulations and, restricting it in different countries, right? So, and then that's what really happened a few weeks ago. So like all these, investors based out of China, they pretty much just dumped their portfolios because, now it's, illegal or it's, not allowed based on the new regulations in China. So as a result, we've seen this massive drop, and not just like Bitcoin, but like in other altcoins. Because essentially like Bitcoin, that's like the golden standard. So like if Bitcoin is up or down, typically most of the other altcoins kind of follow suit. Like not always the case, but usually that's how it goes.
Yeah, interesting. So at this point, Dogecoin's at 31 cents. Where do you think that's going?
I don't know. Like Doge, like it's a meme coin, of course, right? So no one's ever going to know. But it's interesting that Elon is now working with Doge developers in order to potentially either build upon it or improve it, or maybe fork that into a different type of coin, right? So it's So I don't know if anyone really knows. It kind of hits. I don't know, what did Dogecoin hit, like 60, maybe 71 cents, I think it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's like everything else cut in half. So I don't know. For me, it's like I'm just gonna hold on for dear life and just see what happens. But yeah, it's all for fun, right? So like I'm not planning on, retiring on Dogecoin, that's for sure. But it's at the same time, it's going to be involved, right?
So I have a question, if that's okay. How does this rent would work? Like, let's say you rent a place in Vancouver, I don't know, 1,000 square foot condo, $2,500 a month, whatever that is. So if you pay with a Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency, would they translate your contract dollar value to that specific amount of Bitcoin on that day, or your contract will become 0.5% Bitcoin a month? Does it say here?
I don't know if it says here, but I guess like I can weigh in a bit. So like most likely what they're probably doing is like whatever the cost of the house or whatever the thing they're selling is going to be, they would just like put in whatever the current value of whether it's like USD to BTC or CAD to BTC, and just like you would get like pay in with that amount of Bitcoin at that exact moment. So essentially,
that would use present currency as a rate, I guess.
Yeah, so there's different pairs. So there's like a USD and BTC pair. So you would essentially say, this home costs $1 million, and I'm going to put that in, and it's going to show the equivalent of what that would look like in Bitcoin, and then it would just transact with that amount of Bitcoin. And obviously, once that transacts, like the price could go up or down, so that you could lose, you could gain. But I guess that's the risk in doing whatever, right?
Yeah, interesting. I don't know who these live rent guys are, but I guess they would own the multi-dwelling buildings, perhaps, because the mechanics of it are hard to understand how they would pull all that off.
Yeah, there is pay directly through Coinbase. So I didn't know that was actually a function of Coinbase as well, being in the merchant process.
Yeah, well, essentially, like you're gonna, it's like an email money transfer. So like you would go on your Coinbase account, and you let's say you rent like $2,000 a month. I don't know what it would be, and you would just transfer that equivalent in Bitcoin, like almost like an email money transfer. So you would either scan the person's QR code, and then you just send it over. It would hit the blockchain, get mined, and within 10 or 15 minutes, it would essentially show up in the other person's account.
Yeah, actually, one key word there that I used is merchant process, and that changes a lot when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin, I guess. You kind of cut out a lot of people along the way that would take fees as money gets processed from one person to another.
Yep, for sure. 100%. And yeah, every exchange has their own sort of fee structure. Like I think Coinbase is probably one of the most expensive ones, but there's different ones. And yeah, if you're looking at other coins, there's like if you look at anything that's on the Ethereum network from an altcoin perspective, like you're going to pay massive, like the gas fees are so high, like the transaction fees, like are crazy high, depending on the time. Like sometimes for myself, like I would just kind of doing test transactions, and I tried to send like $20 US, and it was like $30 US as a gas fee in order to transact that. So there's definitely there's pros and cons of each method, but yeah, sometimes the fees can be much higher than your traditional bank.
Interesting. So the fee was actually $30, or the total transaction, including the 20, was 30? Like it was a $10 fee or a $30 fee?
Yeah, it was like on top. So if I'm going to transact $20, I'd have to pay $30 in order to send $20 from point A to point B.
Wow.
So it's $50 to send $20 in a sense.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. But it has nothing to do with the exchanges. It's basically the Ethereum. It's the miners and the Ethereum network.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Pretty. So you actually mentioned, maybe we can dig into this a little bit more, but you mentioned with Elon partnering with the Dogecoin developers and possibly forking into a new coin for some sort of use.
Maybe, yeah. It's all speculation. Like no one knows, like whether they can build upon the existing framework or they have to fork it into a new like token or new like Doge 2 or whatever. But yeah, I guess it's more, everything is speculation because no one really knows until it's official in a sense, right? So, or it could just, go away entirely and, move into something else. So that's I guess the fun and the frustrating part of it now, because it's so volatile and you can do 200, 300, 1,000% gains in one day, but you can also lose that in the same day, right? So
Yeah.
extremely volatile, and sometimes it seems random in a lot of cases, but so yeah, depending on if you're risk averse or not, then that kind of determines if you should join or not join, or if you're willing to lose money, then it's definitely good for entertainment at least. So
what Chris means, don't do it.
So not
At your
financial
own risk.
Well, I mean, speaking of random again, then, like if you look at the meme stocks, I just follow GameStop and AMC, but AMC is up to $26 and GameStop's at $222. Was there any reason for that you're aware of?
Probably just Wall Street bets. Like all these hedge funds are shorting these massive shorts, so it's like retail versus like hedge funds. It's like this battle that's happening. So yeah, so the GameStop and AMC specifically, they're not based on any type of technical analysis or financial analysis. It's all just massive people making moves at the same time, impacting the price in response to some of these hedge funds that are just like shorting it. So it's yeah. So those ones they're meme stocks, so they're not based on anything. So like you never know which way it's going to go. So it's very high risk from an investment perspective. Obviously, there's high risk, high reward, but you can lose your pants as well. So.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, the same thing can kind of happen when it's just a hedge fund anyways. It's just that this is maybe a crowd-funded hedge fund in a sense that everybody's just acting in coordination through an online forum, as opposed to a hedge fund manager who is just taking people's money, pooling people's money and just acting on those people's money in a different way.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same. Conceptually, it's the same thing, but it's just done in a different manner, right? So it's very interesting times.
Yeah, fun stuff. Other fun stuff that's happening, I guess we can divert to. I didn't realize it's actually crow attack season in Vancouver right now. I've noticed a lot of crows around our neighborhood at this point, making a lot of noise, and yeah, you hear about it sometimes. I didn't know how bad of a problem it was, but crows are dive bombing people this spring here.
I've been attacked twice in my life. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It is. You try and pretend that you're not scared, but they will literally dive bomb you and get inches from your head, or seemingly inches from your head. Didn't actually make contact on either occasion with me, but yeah, it's unnerving for sure.
When it's safe to travel and I'm coming back, I am bringing my helmet.
Yeah, maybe you should. Well, it depends on the season.
I think I heard about something like that a while ago, but yeah, wow.
It is full-scale attacks probably won't come until around June or July. So yeah, borders provincially, I think we're going to allow Canada-wide travel after that point, so you don't have to worry, Vlad.
Yeah.
But so what's the reason behind it? As a aggressive or protecting something?
protecting.
Yeah, I just kind of
babies.
skimmed through the article, but I guess it's as the crow's kids, I guess are starting to get out at this point and learn how to fly, and so the parents get really protective of them. So if you probably won't notice where the kids are, but if you get too close to that area or something like that, the parents are acting in defense.
Yeah, if you scan down, this is an interesting one. They never forget a face. I've heard that before. Like crows actually can remember who you are. They're kind of creepy. But Vlad and Chris might not know this one. This picture you've got here of all this flock of crows, or I guess they're called a murder of crows. This happens daily. There's this migration, primarily in East Vancouver where I live. So they kind of fly over. Not directly over our house, but there's thousands of them, and they'll go from kind of one part of the city to another part of the city where they spend the night. Yeah, it's a very eerie thing, but it happens every single day.
It's like a Game of Thrones.
It is. Yeah. You get used to it, but I think if you, like I said, if you're not from Vancouver and you see it happening, you're like, what is going on? There's some sort of apocalypse. Yeah.
I learned something new today.
So one last thing that Chris and I like to chat about is Teslas. And Chris is also a Model 3 owner, and Tesla is moving to using its, not this one. I had another article. Tesla is moving to using its cameras instead of the radar for autopilot now. Do I have it on here?
I guess that makes sense given some of the issues they had. Also just saw they've got, it might be old news to you guys, but I just read this morning they've got 1 million orders for the truck. No?
I think I've seen that as well.
Yeah.
Me and Vlad are one of two of those orders at least. So.
Oh, did you order one, Vlad?
I mean, it was a refundable $150 deposit. So I don't know. We'll see.
I guess if you take possession of it, you could probably resell it right off the bat, even if you didn't want it for a profit. Yeah,
I actually ordered it a couple of days after it was announced, so I am not like first in line, or not even. I think Chris ordered within half an hour or 15 minutes of announcement.
Yeah, I think you're you're a million in queue, Vlad. I think I'm about 62,000 because there's a formula for it based on the sequence number. I heard though that I think they might be starting to release them towards the end of the year, like the first production. I don't know; it's still up in the air. I guess like the whole microchip or semiconductor shortage is going to drive that.
I don't know if you guys seen it. It's kind of related to Tesla. I saw, headline on a news that one of the guys mentioned that it takes them 3 hours to build Model 3 from start to beginning, like 3 hours to assemble a car. That's I have no idea how long does it take to build like your Mazda 3 or some other gasoline vehicle. I think you call them ICE, but 3 hours, it sounds pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know either, but I have to suspect, there's so much manual intervention in a traditional process that it's got to be way more than 3 hours. And the cost to build this still got to be, even now, is probably way more traditionally.
But that's not verified news, so I don't want to spread any.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
Yeah, we gotta keep our credibility here on this.
Yes,
show.
My apologies. That was my disclaimer.
Standard is high here, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're just coming up at the top of our half an hour, guys. So really nice having both of you guys on. You guys are always doing some really interesting stuff with your customers. So Buu and I enjoy kind of learning from you and from the projects that you guys do. So yeah, great to see you both, and thanks for joining.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully soon we can meet up in person in a few months, whatever that day will come. It's been a while.
Yeah, for sure. See you guys.
Good luck. Thanks for having us.